What do you think is the most important issue in the world today?
I think it's the frontier between Christianity and Islam that we've got to both learn about each other, because otherwise we're going to have a serious problem with a repetition of the Crusades of the old days, maybe this time with the Muslims coming against us, and that's what we're facing up to now. And if we don't get the act together, there's going to be a problem.
What do you think is the most important issue in the world today?
I think personal happiness.
To work for peace on earth, to overcome the power of the United States and of international capital.
I'm not a Christian.
No, that's fine, that's fine. So, but what do you think is
the important thing? That Palestine.
And why is that?
Our biggest problem today is Palestine. Palestine. And the Jews, or Israel, is saying that God gave all that land to them. And we are in the most difficult part of today because of Palestine. The Jews are claiming Palestine, and they are saying that God gave Palestine to them.
What would you see as a solution to this problem?
Well, the solution to the problem is very technical. It's very technical. You see, because the Jews are sincere. I have Jewish friends that come from America, and they're going back to Palestine because they believe that God really gave those lands to them. So it means to say that all this problem that is happening today in the Middle East, in Iraq, is because of Palestine.
Excuse me, can we ask you a question?
Go for it.
What do you think is the most important issue in the world today?
The most important issue in the world today is one of identity.
And why is that?
Well, I think what we're suffering from today in this world, and we're certainly suffering, is we're suffering from an identity crisis. In that, we human beings are labouring under a case of mistaken identity. We see ourselves in all kinds of spurious ways. We see ourselves as Americans or Iraqis or English, Irish, Scots, Welsh. We see ourselves as Palestinians or Israelis. We see ourselves as Pakistanis or Indians. Now, all these identities, as I said, are spurious. I mean, what we're doing is we're identifying not only with the patch of land that we were born on, but with the rulers who control our wealth, our power, our creativity on those pieces of land. And what happens in our society is that capitalism is a competitive society. We've got all these nation states controlled by their ruling classes, fighting over access to profit. So therefore what you've got is you've got the conflict in the Middle East, you've got the conflict between Pakistan and India, all kinds of conflicts. And all these conflicts are caused purely and simply by capitalism. And it's competitive greed. Whereas I would see a society where we actually recognise our real identity, we see ourselves as we really are. I mean, the more we know about what it is to be human, the more human we can be. That's obvious. And who you believe yourself to be conditions your desires. Well, if we see ourselves fundamentally as who we are, then we're going to want a different way of life. And who we are is out there. And it's been discovered by archaeologists, by paleoanthropologists, by geneticists. We are not only members of the same species, we are all members of the same family. Now, in a functional family, there's an ethic that is followed, and it's very, very simple. It's the ethic of socialism. From each according to ability, to each according to need. And until such times as we discover that common identity, and with it a common interest, we will live in a dysfunctional society. We will live in a society that actually ignores the point of living, or the meaning of life, which is to secure the future. Capitalism doesn't do that. Capitalism is a threat to our future. Capitalism just looks forward to the next year and how many zeros are at the bottom of the balance sheet.
You're bloody Scottish, aren't you? You're a porridge gobbler, aren't you?
I'm not the most political of people, but I mean, obviously, you know, trying to achieve a society which doesn't involve war and starvation and inhumanity.
What do you think the most important issue in the world today is?
I think there's a variety. I think one is the state of humanity and man's inhumanity to man. I think that's a problem that needs to be addressed because once you solve that problem, you also solve the problems of war, environmental destruction, stuff like that. So I think it's
And how do you think that we should solve this problem?
Well, I mean, I don't think you can just sort of like shove a microphone in my face and I'll give you a sort of off-the-cuff response.
What do you think is the most important issue in the world today?
It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God.
What do you think is the most important issue in the world today?
I believe the most important issue in the whole history of humanity has been the question about God and man and our problem of sin and how we can be right with God. And I believe that that's what everyone should think about before politics and anything else is, our relationship with God. And I believe that I can only be right with God when Jesus Christ forgives my sin, which he offers me. My relationship with God, that's the most important thing in the world that everyone should think about.
I think that the most important issue in the world today is the individual right of humanity. If you was to talk about a person called, say, Thomas, whatever his name was, Paine or whatever, I believe that every single human being in the world today has a right to coexist with the other human being. But the problem is you've got these people, right, that they turn round and run around, whether they're left-wing, right-wing, middle-of-the-road politics, they are crucifying people that doesn't agree with them. We talk about ethnic cleansing, we talk about what's happening to the world as regards global warming and everything else. Humanity is on a nosedive. But I turn round. I'm at Speaker's Corner in London and I've been standing here and I tell you what, I've walked up and down the road and all I've listened to is nothing but a bunch of religious bigots that haven't got a clue what they talk about when you turn round and ask them about their religion. I've just spoken to a load of Christians, and I tell you what, I've read the book, the Bible, from Genesis to Malachi, from Matthew to Revelation, and they've got the cheek to stand up on a blocking soapbox, and they don't even know what the book that they've even read. At the end of the day, take you as a person, an individual being, you have the right. If you're gay, you got people running around here, turning around and saying, oh, if you're gay, we'll put a bullet in your head. If you're a woman and you're in another part of the world, you can't run around the world because you've got to walk around the world. Look. It's my culture. Yeah, my culture. This is bollocks and bullshit. I'm a human being. I live on the earth. And I believe, at the end of the day, that I have got the right, if I want to screw my mate up the backside, not that I would anyway, but say I did, I've got the right to do it. Two consenting adults. They've got people running around, and we are in the this is the bit that you've got to get. We're in the 21st century. Jesus Christ is 2,000 years ago. Muhammad died in 632. Yeah?
Yep, okay.
Put it into perspective.
Most important issue in the world today is to have peace on this planet before Christmas because of the state of the planet. If we carry on the way we're carrying on, the planet will be out of control and there's nothing anybody can do. I grew on the planet in Israel 2,000 years ago, and I sole control the planet. I sole control the planet in London. The police, the governments and the religions all know this. I gave message to the authorities last week telling them I'm in sole control. I am prepared to go anywhere on the planet now to meet anyone, bring peace to the planet today. I do not believe in force, I believe in harmony. They will come to an understanding with me and everything will be fine. All I have to do is go where I feel I should go, do what I feel I should do, say what I feel I should say, and there will be peace.
And God said, this I'm enjoying this.
I can't hear what you're saying. He's talking, and your mate's talking, right? That's disorder.
No, the things that you don't know what he's talking about.
That's anarchy. I'll show you what anarchy is. Okay, I'll tell you what.
But he gave you an answer.
Wait, I'll tell you what we do.
Wait,
what you could do is, I say something, right? If you've got anything really worth saying, not if I want to show off in front of the girls, or no, I want to show off in front of my mate, because I'm doing all that, right? You don't have to do any of that. I'm doing all that, right? So I say something, and then if you've got anything to say about that, you say something, right?